And welcome back, everyone, to ITN Into the Nexus. This is Into the Nexus, episode 117. And I am joined once again by Jeff Cannata. Welcome to the show. Garrett is out sick. We tried, but awesome Jeff is here. I think you were here 13 episodes ago now.
Has it been that long? Wow.
Yeah, and it's amazing that it's been that long. And then to think how much the game has changed over such a short amount of time.
Well, it changed a whole big chunk this week.
Yeah.
It was a big change, yeah.
And that's certainly going to be our big topic of today is the new meta and how it's sort of shaping up. But there's Gul'dan in there. There's a couple of secret patch things that leaked on through. There's, Dustin's back. One tweet out so far. So things are returning to normal again.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. I shout out to Garrett. Hope he feels better. I appreciate you guys giving me the call. The only bad thing about being on the show is that I don't get to listen to the show because it's a highlight of my week. So I really enjoy it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, how has the new game been treating you? How has your past couple weeks been? How has season 1 been for you?
It's rough.
You just summed it up in one sound, I think.
Yeah. Here's my take on season 1 so far. It's a tough thing because it seems to me that they've built a rank system whose goal is to become as certain about you as it can possibly be. It's trying to fit you in a place to match you with equally skilled players. But from my perspective as a player, I don't want it to be certain about me. I want to move. My goal is to move up through the rank system. So I'm fighting with the system every step of the way because it's trying to be certain and I'm trying to make it as uncertain as possible. I'm trying to progress. So I feel like there's a built-in conflict there that is at cross purposes. And as somebody this is my first MOBA, I'm about 2,500 games played on Heroes of the Storm, but the first 1,000 of those, I was pretty bad.
Yeah.
And I have gotten a lot better since then, but I think the MMR that I earned when I was learning is not representative of the MMR of my current skill level. But the game doesn't care about that. The game says, here's what we've learned about you throughout this entire process, through the alpha and the beta when I was playing as well. We kind of figured you out, and we're going to place you with those players. And that would be fine in a game like StarCraft, where I'm myself and it's my skill and that's it. All I have to do is be better than the other player and I'm progressing. But when it's placing me with 4 other people who are at a certain place, I find that a recipe for a little bit of frustration.
Definitely. Well, and StarCraft, Hearthstone resets every month, so it's very unique. But StarCraft, there was a habit of certain streamers to throw a game in order to go down to Bronze League and then show off their way back up to Gold Grandmaster and stuff like that. And that's 100% fine. Abuse the system all you want. If you want to throw your game, I win.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But you throw other players in. It's a very interesting discussion right now that's going on throughout the community, but also, on this show repeatedly, is what should the system be? I mean, should it be just MMR? Are these fancy goals, these mounts and everything else, just causing to tilt people who are stuck lower, and those who are going to get the rewards would already get the rewards because they placed higher in the first place?
Right.
And then on top of that, you have Blizzard, which is a company made of World of Warcraft. We've met them through, whatever game you came to the company with. For me, it was StarCraft original, Warcraft 2 into Warcraft 3. And then World of Warcraft became everything. And that game has evolved from a very sort of hardcore walk around town. What's that guy wearing? I don't even know what that sword is with lightning on it. But he must have worked hard to everyone gets a lightning sword.
Right.
And so now they make a competitive team-based game, and we're all thinking, where's my lightning sword?
I want my lightning sword.
Where's my Thunder Fury?
Yeah, I think that's true. I think that a lot of I certainly have mount envy. I got a mount from the, getting up to about rank 14, I think, in the before the first wipe. I got a mount first time for the preseason, right? That's probably the last time I'm going to get a mount, because the thing that I noticed, the big ranked patch came out when E3 was on. And so I did that entire week. I didn't get a chance to play Heroes because I was covering E3 morning till night.
Sure.
And so I did all my placement matches after most people had done their placement matches because I was like a week late coming to the party for that. So I'm being matched with people who are already are ranked, which means I got to see where the game was placing me in relation to other players. And guess what? Even though I went 7-3 in my placement matches, I pretty much got placed where they were placing me already. So what's the point of my placement matches, right? I'm just going to be where I'm going to be, and there's not much movement for me anyway. I don't know. Maybe that's a little defeatist. Maybe it's just, get good and, work your way up. But I really do feel like the number of games you need to put together in a row to progress of wins is so daunting when you get into situations where people will throw a game or just stop playing or go AFK, or especially, in Silver where I am, people don't care. There's a lot of not caring happening, and it's very frustrating.
And I agree with you. I was demoted yesterday down to Diamond 4. And looking at that, looking how, the demotion match went, and then I fall, those points that I would have lost getting to demotion were added on to my new rank 4 Diamond demotion area. And that means I have to win 3 games in a row to get back.
Yeah.
But if I'm progressing, the best we can expect from me in a realistic situation is going to be 60%. All you got to do is 60% and you'll climb. And that's what most people, even the Grandmasters, still have, is a 60% win rate. Now, that does get thrown to the side a little bit when you get 2 Grandmaster pro players duo queuing together. You get a little bit of a weight that they pick the tank and the healer. They're dictating the whole game, right? You can have a foolish gray main off doing whatever he wants, but the flow of everything can be dictated by 2 duo queuing people. And so they might have had a higher win rate, but they're still 60% when they choose to play alone. And that does mean it's a grind. So the game needs to be about passion, I think, first and foremost. Love the game. Enjoy why you play it. But to win, winning's the best part. It is.
And, you bring up the reward system. In Hearthstone, I pretty much can get the card back every month.
Yeah.
And I don't have to be amazing. I don't have to have amazing decks. I don't even have to invest a whole lot of money into Hearthstone to get the card back. It's achievable. It's pretty much just effort in, card back out. And it's kind of what you're talking about with my, the lightning sword in WoW. There's a low bar. And I think a lot of people would argue against low bar, but low bar kind of makes you feel good. It makes you feel like you want to keep playing. I don't know.
Yeah, so maybe we're calling for 2 different things at the same time in this community. We're calling for the curtain to be pulled back, the illusion to be shed, and for us to actually see our true numbers. And that's going to be the more hardcore people who, that kind of guy in class in 3rd grade and turns around and asks you what grade you got. And he only asked because he got an A, right? Otherwise, he wouldn't be asking. You know that kid.
I know that kid. I was that kid a couple of times.
I was too until class got hard.
Yeah.
Or the ones that asked if the teacher had collected homework, but that's another story.
I'm not even sure I want to see my MMR. I'm not even sure that's the real solution. What I want is to be able to affect my MMR. I don't care if I see it, but I would love a season. I know that this is cross purposes with what Blizzard wants, right? Blizzard wants to create good matches. I don't care about good matches so much as I want to be playing with people that care about the game. I have tweeted at Dustin Browder a few times saying the only stat that I care about when matchmaking is number of games played. Like, just put me with people that put a lot of time into this game because those people care.
Yeah.
And I'm much more interested in fluidity in my MMR than I am in certainty in my matchmaking. And I think Blizzard is more interested in certainty in matchmaking. Get people of like skill levels together and figure out and stick them in a spot and keep them in that spot. And we feel very confident we know how good you are. I'm much more interested in throw it out the window every season. Let it be a little chaotic. Give me a chance to maybe place really high one season and really low another season, but feel like I have a lot of fluidity there, a lot of chance to change around. I think that makes for a more fun experience, but I could be wrong.
So what if they took it 2 matches played and gave you almost like a purgatory you could hang out in. And it was top gold hangout, but your fall and your gain was very apparent. We're talking like a rank per game. Would that be satisfactory?
I mean, I just feel like I think that would be more fun if I'm playing in a ranked system. The ranked system is based on the MMR, which is across all modes of play. Whereas what I'm going into ranked for, especially when you dangle that carrot on that stick for me, is to try to improve, is to try to move up through those ranks, not to like get into a good groove and have good games with people in my rank, and have that great 50% win rate. That's not fun. So yeah, I mean, going up a rank, going down a rank for wins and losses, I don't know if that's the solution. It might be more fun. I wish that it would throw out more of my previous history each season than it currently does.
I can agree. I think we need to ditch our artifacts that we're holding on to from preseason. I have them too. I mean, I got into this game as an experienced MOBA player, but for me it was so exciting. Abathur, Asmodan, these guys I had never seen before in a MOBA. Heroics at level 10 and getting to choose and the talents and no buying items. Like, I was just a kid in a candy shop, and that can ruin an MMR too. Plus, we've mentioned, almost as a bad word around here, I don't want to say it, almost in whispers, but MMR hell. There's many of them, and there's one at every single stop. So there's one for silver, there's one for gold. What we can do right now in the current system, and that's how I like to take life, it's all full of all these weird rules. I didn't do that. I'm not responsible for that part of the world, but it's just the way the world is. So you play to the best as the system is presented. And in that way, we try to improve. We can use hot slogs, but upping that data so we know why we lost and understood it rather than just walking away emotionally scarred might be more powerful. And we'll see what happens in the future.
Yeah. It's not going to stop me from playing, that's for sure.
That's great.
I got the addiction hard.
Well, the game has changed quite a bit. And I'm curious to know what it looks like for you right now in the game, because there's definitely been an adjustment up in my league. Has it trickled down? Is the new meta with these catapults, these orbs, these minions that do 50% more damage changed your game much?
Well, it has changed my game. I think a bit slow on the uptake for a lot of players. I see a lot of people not realizing it yet. I mean, it's week 1 of this new version, so I think people don't read patch notes, especially in silver. Because it's change, I fear change and don't understand change myself. So it's easy to feel like, oh, why do they do this? I like the game how it was. I played, X number of games before that. Why do they change this? I understand the desire for shorter games. I'm not sure there's anything particularly fun about catapults winning a game for you. Is that a good thing? Because I've had a couple of games already where it's just like, oh, distraction strategy, where just let's not let the other team notice that the catapults are tinging away on their core. Is that a satisfying victory even? It's certainly not a satisfying loss, but is it a satisfying victory to just have the catapults win it for you? I don't know.
Well, game time is down 5% right now. That's not a lot, but it is saying that this new method is shortening our game time, which is something Blizzard is aiming for. We all don't want to be sitting here for full hours and a half, and those are, of course, extreme cases in other MOBAs, but they do happen with a bit more regularity, just like you might have that bizarre 45-minute Tomb of the Spider Queen every once in a while.
Yeah.
But the catapults locking on, I wonder if it'll be helped out in the future by some sound effects, some announcing, because right now our announcers are a little buggy. Not only do they sometimes play 2 musics at once, and you've got this glorious soundtrack that has been doubled in your ears, playing at different times, of course, but also sometimes they'll be like, catapults on the core, and you look and there's nothing there. Nothing's attacking the core.
Right.
So maybe a decent alarm system will help out. But for me, it's done the opposite of what I was hoping it would do, which would be bring about the laning phase. And not like an actual old school, like 15 minutes. Let's hang out in our different lanes. Let's roll out of the core and just decide our lanes and yell about who's friends with who, so who gets the lane with who. Because in Heroes, the objective dings 2 minutes in. The lanes are broken, but I want to return to lane. And I want to go back to those stories I was having as Zagara versus that Thrall. And instead, what's actually happening in my league right now is Deathball meta, which...
Definitely.
As a StarCraft player, you just go, no, it's back. It's again, like I lost all personality in a game I played this week because that's all we did. It was Cursed Hollow. We roamed as 3 across all 3 lanes. Nothing cute, nothing esports like Zagar in the bottom lane and 4 of us taking care of the top and the mid. We did everyone together, mid, top, bottom, mid, top, bottom, just back and forth, objective, mid, top, bottom, boss, boss. Like, it was just so robotic. And I was overwhelmed with my disappointment that this may be the meta that was brought about by this change. Now, it could be just adjustment. Like you said, not everyone reading the patch, and this is just how we used to handle this when it got real busy. And we're just going to deathball it for now until we feel safe to do something more creative.
Do you think that that's happening because of the changes to minions?
I think we're not accounting for lane clear when we're building a comp yet. We all want a great support, a great solo support. We get a little scared when we see Tyrande. We get a little scared when we see Tassadar. We want a great solo tank. We get a little scared when we see Dahaka and Sonya taking up that front line, but it does work. And we're not adding in that extra level of making sure that someone can clear this lane. And Zagara has lane control, but when it gets stacked up with, 4 sets of giants and 3 catapults, like you need Kael'thas, you need Jaina, you need old Skeleton King to come in there and just clean it up in a swipe.
Yeah, playing Jaina after this patch it's pretty clear what a crazy lane clear she has now with that 3rd drop of the snowstorm, whatever it's called. You can push through massive amounts of minions really quickly. So yeah, she's got that added functionality. I kind of think that's kind of fun for her. But it's interesting to me. There was something that happened like a couple of months ago where everybody sort of came to this tacit agreement that, at least in my leagues, that the beginning of a match we all fight in the middle.
Yeah. Yep.
Like everybody decided at once that. It used to be everybody, pick your lanes and let's go and let's do. And now for some reason, every single match, everybody's like, we're all fighting in the middle. It's all happening. It's going down. We're trying to get the first kill. And then after that, everybody splits. And I don't know why we all decided that, but I don't know if it's necessarily more fun. I don't know.
It's throwing a dice and seeing how your day is going to be based off that one decision. You wake up in the morning, you throw your D20, it lands on a 1, and you say, my day is awful. And I'm going to be grumpy all day long. And that's what it feels like. This random gamble brought in from esports. And it does have its legitimacy. The lanes in the outlying areas are longer. So it takes longer for those minions to get up there. If you all run to the middle where the minions meet first, you're going to get that XP. And then you can spread out across the map and get the other XPs as those meet together. Because death timers are so short, it's a nice bit of motivation if you win. You get a little bit of XP if you lose, but it really doesn't matter. So I've been finding I have to just go ham. And if I die, no one cares. I just need to get in there from the very get-go and establish my personality as this gray main that's going to dive the first thing I see and attract the attention of my tank. And hopefully I get that kill and the support goes, I like you, gray main. We're going to have a good game together. But if I die there, I don't get the heals later on. It's a weird gamble. I understand in esports, but we used to do the same thing on the site towers. So maybe we're just bored. Like humans, we sat through that whole draft. We sat behind that gate where we sat through a load screen that maybe had a disconnect. We're just going, come on. What am I here for? And maybe because the game's shorter, we're not relaxing. In those hour-and-a-half long games, maybe we just chill a little bit more.
It's an interesting theory. Possibly true. It is interesting. I like how much confidence you have in your teammates noticing you, because I feel like very rarely do they even pick up on what I'm laying down. But I appreciate that. In your head, you're like, they're gonna see. And
that's an artifact of my league too, because I have to trust these people. If I have to go that deep on Greymane because they have an actual defensive comp that can lock me down, you know, their whole team, their Morales is trusting their whole team to protect that Morales. My whole team has to trust me as the dive character to get that Morales. So,
Right.
you know, things change in different leagues. I mean, that's why I love Raynor so much in Silver, Gold, because you're just your own agent and you can do everything on the field you need to. You know, you mentioned the games played earlier, and I get a little sad inside because I'm responsible for that too, because I have smurfed, and I have.
Well, I'm sure that's fun though. I have often fantasized about starting a new account just to see where I would place. Like if I got placed where I am now with a fresh, you know, brand new shrink wrapped account that, you know, is unsullied, I would be really disappointed if it placed me in the exact same place. Because I harbor this fantasy in my head of like, I'm better than I was, and the game will see if I just was, you know, rid of all those bad games that I played for so many months. But I could be, you know, like Dustin Browder. I could be wrong.
And it's a lot of fun. I feel really guilty about it, but you know, that's my experience when I watch. You know, we talk about those MMR Hell games and what people could have done differently, and I'm trying to give advice to people to improve their own play. But in the back of my head, the whole reason why I'm arguing against this is I want to be in your shoes. I want to jump into your game for a moment and destroy that Falstad who's out of position. But my eyes are trained for it, so I know it's this weird catch-22 back and forth.
Yeah. Well, no, I find myself, you know, being the special snowflake quite often in the sense of I made the right play. Like, I know I made the right play. That guy was out of position, and I went there, and my team didn't follow. Like, they didn't catch that. And I'm a special snowflake who knows that that was the right play to make. Or, you know, we're supposed to rotate right now. We're supposed to go and time to grab a merc can, whatever it is. I know, because it makes more sense to do it right now. And everybody, I'm pinging, nobody's coming, and now I'm dead. So, you know, I think that is the trap of somebody that feels passionate about the game, is to, like, I don't know if you play down to your team is the wrong way to put it, but more like you play with your team even if you feel like that's not the right move.
And that's one of the tips on the bar right now as you're loading up. They added those in this patch, and one of them is stay with your group even if it's not the best call. It's a little scary to see it on there. I had a special snowflake moment this week, in fact, where my whole team was taking a boss. I was in the mid as Lily. Sure, they're without a healer down there. Maybe a little scary, but I had 3 people on me. And so by being allowed Lily in the middle, I'm thinking these guys are busy. Why would Lily be by herself if someone's not ganking nearby? Clearly, I'm distracting these 3 guys. And then I receive my messages of where was I and why wasn't I a part of that boss. They got it fine. They were fine without me, and I valued the role that I performed. Right. But I was a special snowflake in the middle. One of the scariest trends I'm seeing right now as a solo queue, you know, long experience MOBA player is Discord. And I don't know if you're running into this.
Oh, people on Discord that even if they're just solo queuing, they like guy posts his Discord in the chat. Is that
exactly?
Yeah. And I think it's cool.
And being like, easy win, guys, click here.
Yeah.
But then that same guy is like, in one of the instances, that same guy was the weakest link on the team. The easy win, click this link guy. And then on the other side, one of those guys became the toxic guy on the team.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of a game. I'm not going to click it. It's getting that random link on Twitter, and you don't know who this is and what. I'm not clicking that.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I haven't yet gone into a random Discord server, but I kind of like the fact that that's happening, that people are attempting to have, you know, voice chat. It feels harder to be the toxic guy if you're actually speaking to people rather than typing at them.
Sure. That whole I'm in my car persona road rage.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's a jungle out there, man. It's that thing that I take away from playing Heroes so much is, you know, that hell is other people, right? And you have to get out of that mindset. I'm so guilty of it. I get salty. I get toxic sometimes. I hate it that I do. I feel guilty afterwards, but you know, you feel like the special snowflake who knows what's happening. And guys, I dove stop attacking the tank. Why is everyone attacking Johanna? You're not going to kill her. That thing of correcting everybody else rather than playing a smarter game. It's a tough trap to avoid.
My pet project in my head is Artanis, and getting people to notice when he hits 16 and he gets those talent stacks, because you can do it wrong targeting Artanis after 16.
Oh yeah,
and throw the whole game.
and everybody gets so seduced by that tiny sliver of health.
Yeah.
That's not his actual health.
No, it's not.
Same with Johanna. Everybody gets so seduced by that and like, oh, let's all turn and pounce on the tank. No, stop it.
Even worse if they died like twice in the early game, and now they have all their talents together, and everyone's like, but we just killed them 10 minutes ago. You're like, no, we that was then, this is now. Yeah. And I'm certainly having some of those problems on other characters too, because if I do 2 Artanis games in a row, I can assure you in game number 2, I'm diving in there level 1 like I'm invincible. And I need to cool my jets a little bit and wait for that talent stack to come back.
I love Artanis. He's one of my favorite heroes. I love playing him because of that, because that feeling of just like slugging it out in the middle. And if you have a team that supports you, it feels so good to just be in there and chasing people down and hitting someone with that void or the what's it called, the swappity doo.
Yeah, I like that. No, we'll just go with that one.
The old swappity doo. That is very, very satisfying.
Yeah.
When you get it right. He's a great character. I love him.
Well, there were some other things that came out this week. The patch notes weren't entirely correct, and there were some bugs as well as some other additions that sort of leaked in. As I mentioned near the top of the show there, minions are doing 50% more damage, not 100%.
I think that's good.
Yeah, I think looking at how things are right now, maybe we can go to 100% in the future once we get those Zagaras, Jaina's, everyone kind of trained up a little bit for the new meta. But I'm happy these things are only doing that 50 because they are burning down some forts. When all those little archers create their ring in the top and you're bottom having to watch it on the mini-map, you know what's going down.
It's rough. It's rough. And it's such a hard thing now, especially when an objective comes up that's all the way the map across from some bad thing that's happening to your towers. It's brutal because there's nothing you can do about it.
And that's why I'm so excited. And I hope we can evolve out of this because Dahaka can do something about it. Falstad can do something. But right now, that Falstad's too afraid to go out on his own because he might explode and incur the wrath of the team.
Mm-hmm.
Zagar also went through with a couple of the bugs still existing and some changes, actually. Maw went in broken. It is no longer a big old toilet. It instead sort of just grabs them on the sides and keeps them on the sides.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to be a bug. They've acknowledged this, but Maw players are, of course, going to find a lot more success in the new and improved Nidus Worm. For a bit, I've seen some successful Maws, sure, for locking down and using it more like a void prison so we can kill everybody else, but your sweet wombo combos will not be in existence until that is fixed.
I feel like Zagara is OP after this patch. Zagara is such a strong hero now. I love when someone bans out Zagara.
Yeah, the bans have changed a little bit too. I've been seeing Zul's and Zagaras getting in those first. The Kael'thas still usually makes it in there.
Yeah.
But specialists are getting banned out. And Sylvanas, who was already seeing bans on like Battlefield of Eternity for the building lockdown, Garden of Terror for the same reason. But now she's getting that first ban, hoping the enemy team will, get rid of that, or making the enemy team get rid of that Kael'thas. So very powerful there. And Zagara, I undervalued the Baneling range at level 1. And seeing those things roll in from off screen is just frightening.
Yeah, it is. I've never played Zagara. I was never one of the heroes that I latched onto. In fact, I'm just not a fan of specialists in general. I have a level 10 Murky and a level 10 Sergeant Hammer, but I don't really play them. But man, I love watching a good Zagara player. Shout out to Garden again because he's awesome. But I think that she's completely different and really overpowered now.
She's real good, though they did knock her down a notch from the PTR. Hydralisk's heal at 13 now only works versus heroes. So if you saw any videos floating around, I know I made one as well, of us spawning as many Mutalisks as we can and then being invincible as those heals go out on buildings, lane minions. That is no longer the case. It must be heroes.
Yeah, that's, I think, exactly why that change was made. It's like, you can't have that in the game, right? That's a little bit of a cheat.
And stacking that with the infinite Mutalisk as it pushed some far-off lane that no one's a part of, and you were healed halfway across the map, was a little abusable. And they took that out, too. Mutalisk now only lasts 1 minute instead of infinite. And in fact, Spirian got on and said that we know this isn't quite as flashy or as awesome as the permanence or until death, but we feel 1 minute will still accomplish the goal.
And I guess that's encouraging that the PTR really is the T in PTR really is true. You know, it's not just a preview of what you're going to get. They really are testing it, and changes will happen between PTR and final patch release.
Yeah, you know, lots of people afraid tinfoil hatting a little bit that it's just a cash grab for the hero before you actually get to try him.
Right.
But it's nice to see some changes coming out there. I think my favorite bug that made it in is our unmounting heroes, Asmodan, Zagara, and Anubarak, are riding horses now.
I haven't had a chance to see this yet. I saw it in the notes and I was excited. I wanted to load up Asmodan and check it out. But does it look as ridiculous as it sounds?
Oh, yes. Their wings are flapping. Asmodan's legs are going. But underneath him is this, about 2 feet below him in his hover, is this horse.
Awesome. That's great. I love it.
There's also a mountain bug that will put you on a plain horse if you select something special. These are just sad to see because
nothing worse than a peasant horse.
Well, when you're trying to show off, I do judge based on skins. I'm not gonna lie, and if you don't have an awesome skin, put yourself on an awesome mount so I know you're invested.
Exactly.
Unless you're Diablo, we've been over that.
Skins get wins.
Exactly. But more so like just the workers, the employees of Blizzard who make this game, and this is their product they're selling. And to have, a skin not show up on Chromie or your mount not show up is just awful.
I remember that happening a lot a few months ago, where I would always load up to the game and get the stupid hobo horse, and be like, oh, stupid hobo horse. And then it went away and now it's back. So that's a bummer.
And they say that this happens from time to time at Blizzard. They're working on multiple patches at the same time. This team, the sort of rollout team, is working on this patch, the one you're going to see now, but the development team is on 3 patches from now, and it sort of works down the team. So sometimes they fix a bug for this release, but the 3 patches ahead bug is still in existence. They forget about it, and we get to see it yet again roll out later. So they've said that they're looking to give us more descriptive patch notes in the future with some color changes. If they make a correction, it'll be in red. If they addend something, we'll be noted of it. So it sounds like the team's moving in the right direction.
Cool. Yeah, I like that.
Medivh's portals are now less easy to click. You need to click the middle of the portal rather than the whole darn thing to teleport.
That's good because I've misclicked that quite frequently.
Yes.
All of a sudden I'm like, what? Where am I? How did that oh, okay. I get it. Yeah.
And that delay on those portals, if a Medivh's not prepared, if a Medivh's not experienced, he's giving you a sweet escape about a second and a half after you wanted it. Now putting the part where you were going to come out, where you're now clicking, and back you go into the fray to die.
Yeah.
But I've been loving Medivh, actually. I mean, he got quite a damage buff, and it's a lot of fun to take into quick match, but not quite subjecting people in Hero League to it.
Yeah, I played a Hero League game yesterday with the Medivh on the other team, and they promptly lost. It's a hero that is really fun because of the weird, wacky things that it ends up throwing into the mix. And it's still early with that hero. People are still learning Medivh, and I think even learning how to play with a Medivh. So
yeah, and that's something I feel we have to account for right now. I think on Chromie's release, everyone was just so disappointed that it wasn't a full dragon. Yeah. That we attacked the team a little more because of balance and her release at 36%, and this is unacceptable. What a horrible hero, Bob. But we forget. I mean, right now I'm experiencing hyper-aggressive Valas, and they're wrecking me.
Oh, I've been playing so much Vala lately. Yeah.
And what's happening? What esports video was put up? What's going on here? But I don't think it's any of those things. It's just people have been playing Vala since the game came out.
Mm-hmm.
It's that Johanna. I'm an okay Johanna. I need another tank, so I took up the banner of Johanna about 2 months ago. But I'm not going to be as good as some guy who's been playing Johanna since release.
Right.
And, getting into Gul'dan now, his win rate is real low at 37% on release. And no one's complaining. And it's fine. You know, Medivh, people just made the excuses. Oh, that's a team player. That we'll see what esports can do with it. I'm not concerned about the win rate there. In fact, his team league win rate is fantastic. The very top, 56% last I checked. But Gul'dan releasing at 37, everyone seems okay with it. It's experience.
It's experience, but I also think perception has a little bit to do with it in the sense that Chromie comes out, Chromie's real squishy, right? Chromie dies, she's a piece of paper. She goes down fast. So people try or don't understand how to stay far away from stuff. It's all the time manipulation powers are take a little getting used to. You don't get it. With Gul'dan, yeah, the play between his mana and his health is delicate, and you can get yourself into trouble real fast, but you feel like it's your fault. It's not like, oh, he had such a low health pool, and I was going to die with this guy anyway. This is a stupid hero. I hate this game. Log out. It feels more like, well, I did that. I sacrificed some of my health. I shouldn't have done that. That's just my, 2-cent philosophy, psychology, whatever. But I think it has something to do with it.
Sure. I've been practicing Johann at the same time trying to pick up Gul'dan. I panic now and then, and I life tap to get a sweet shield. Yeah. And promptly die because I sacrificed my health. I do not get unstoppable on Gul'dan, despite playing so much Johanna, and I die. But I was really thrown for a loop by this. I have found myself top damage on Gul'dan in most of my games, feeling like I'm making a pretty good contribution. That is a trap. It is. I'm Nazeebo. I'm Lunar in this scenario. I'm even Gazlo. I can get top damage on Gazlo every day because I just leave turrets everywhere and walk away. It's the hardworking Illidan that gets second to last damage that won us the game because it was all single targeted. So don't be like me. Don't be too proud of your Gul'dans and walk away saying, "Oh, I did great."
Oh, I'm definitely that guy. I'm top damage in a loss, and I'm like, "Well, I did my job. Sorry, I did my job."
Yeah.
It's not the right philosophy to have, but I definitely am like, well, at least I did more top damage than even their team, and we lost. So come on, guys, let's pull up your bootstraps and let's keep up with me, Special Snowflake over here.
And if you're looking to assess that for yourself at home, take a look at the damage absorbed by the enemy tank and then compare it to your team's damage. And it may have been you wailing on the tank in that case.
Right.
And we're all if a game's losing and Chen's standing outside the gate and I'm Raynor, well, I might pad out my points a little bit. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
I'm not going to not attack him when he's the only thing in range. That's just silly. But getting off him and onto other characters is what we're aiming for. Right. But I love Gul'dan. I of course love my villains. Just the flavor. I have closed heroes, reopened heroes, closed heroes, reopened it just to watch that. He does with the flames. It's so fantastic.
Yeah, it's really cool. He's a really neat looking character. He's got that mix of being terrifying and ridiculous all at the same time, which is fun. And his Q is so rad. It has such a low cooldown, and you can just keep ripping it into the team. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's what makes him that sustained spellcaster. It's such a unique role. People talk about, wanting tanky spellcasters all the time. They want it to be an actual warrior role, ideally, with a bit more damage mitigation, but Gul'dan has it. You have the health to get in thick, and your auto attacks are really nice, but you don't need them. You just spam, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Although I really don't like his, what's the name of his ult that is the meteor shower? Not
Rain of Destruction.
Yeah.
Or the Rain of Disappointment, as we dubbed it.
Exactly.
Last episode. Now, we did learn this week, thanks to Reddit's Dizzy Mongoose, that the math has been done, and it's been all data mined up. It's made up of 44 zones with 56 random meteors. All zones overlap, so there's no chance that even a small character like Chromie won't be hit if a random meteor lands on her. So there is...
So there, why are you complaining? 44 zones. Just shoot it at the enemy team. 44 zones.
Exactly. No big deal, right? There's a chance. These do rain down quick. It has done 4,000 damage for some people. It does no damage for others on stationary targets. So,
yeah.
But the bizarre thing about this is you go over to Hotslogs, and granted, Hotslogs has its problems. You have to upload. You have to, be interested in posting the stats. But currently, Rain of Destruction has a higher win rate.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. It's interesting because I feel like fear is so powerful.
Oh, it is. And it's how you're going to combo together with a nice corruption. You can control making
Yeah.
them run away over those little bursts. You're going to CC that Illidan that's all over you,
Right.
save a teammate, win a game by fearing people into tower range. I guess, too, it's a bit of a complicated skill, maybe. And Reign of Destruction is much more seductive when you're clicking through it.
Well,
Just
it's only
trying him out.
flashier looking, but
Yeah.
I can't imagine anybody taking that over fear. Fear seems so powerful and has wrecked me in a couple of games. But I kind of feel like maybe Reign of Destruction should work like Starfall.
Yeah.
Just like, hit a zone constantly. I don't know.
Yeah, hit things that are there. It maybe like Hyperion. If more people cram into it, we can negate some of the damage if we're all stuck
Yeah.
inside, or we all run out of it. But it's a huge zone, and the channeling is what kills it for me. Of course, if it wasn't channeled, sure, I'm fine with random damage. I'll get in there and I'll keep life tapping and draining and waving. And by the way, I'm going to redact my previous statement that I was bummed about Medivh having a same-looking spell as Gul'dan. Because this past week I got in a lane versus lane, Gul'dan versus Medivh, and the two of them shooting similar-looking waves at each other was actually super Harry Potter, and I totally dug it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Expecto Patronus.
Exactly. Connecting in the middle. I don't know why it got so gooey in the movies, but
That's cool.
interesting to note, Gul'dan's top map right now is Infernal Shrines, followed by Dragonshire. And
Well, that makes more sense than making that ult be the top win rate. If it's on Infernal Shrines, it makes sense taking it, I guess.
that's true. It's going to at least maybe hit a skeleton or two.
Yeah.
We're certainly opinionated about horror, but horrified, but it's CC, and giving a character that doesn't have CC anything like that is just incredible. Also, you have your lanes right there. So you're on the objective, you're on the pad, and you can go consume a soul or drain a life off a nearby minion. And that's where we'll really find Gul'dan succeeding.
Yeah.
His lowest win rates right now, though, are on Garden of Terror and Battlefield of Eternity. So taking him away from his precious lanes for long periods of time where he can keep farmed up seems to be a pretty big detriment against him.
Interesting.
In Battlefield of Eternity, you're sustained damage, but I guess you just can't do as much as those Greymanes and Rainers and Valas that when they lock on, you might be able to do something cute with Drain Health, doing more damage below 50%, but I still don't think your damage output is as strong.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not the guy that you want to be working on that Immortal.
Highest duo win rate with Kerrigan right now. Now, Kerrigan is our top winniest hero in the game right now for
Really?
some
Wow.
bizarre reason. Something's going on there.
Well, she got a little rework, right? People are digging on her. That's awesome. I got to pick up some Kerrigan, I guess. But interesting that you match Kerrigan with Gul'dan. I guess Kerrigan can, lock people down melee and have Gul'dan just work them from afar.
And it might be her range on the dive, just that Gul'dan is going to get them down, but delivering that final touch that kills them, it was going to be all you need. Below that, it's Nazeebo and Brightwing, who also have fantastic win rates right now, but it makes sense that Brightwing's passive healing would help out Gul'dan a lot. I've had 2 games with a Babysitter Morales on Gul'dan, and you got to walk away after that. Do not play another game after you get a Babysitter Morales, because you will play like a fool in your next attempt.
That's funny.
But just life tapping, nope, no problems, just on, keep it going. Fantastic.
Infinite mana.
His highest win percentage right now is against Medivh, funnily enough. I think, should Medivh win? I don't really know anymore.
Well, I think it's nice that there are more of those wizard duels that you like so much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Lowest win rate is against Brightwing, which is interesting. So, and I was very happy to hear an explanation for something that was really disturbing me. You revealed it, actually. You were interviewing Phil Gonzalez on DLC 134, and ever since I saw this character, I'm like, he looks great up top. I love the hands. I love the gestures, how, just gnarly he is. But those bandage pants just creep me out.
Yeah, you don't like those bandage pants, do you?
And it was great to hear that was intentional.
Yeah,
and
they wanted to accentuate the bandage pants.
Right, like even with the mounting that I noticed that really show those off, all intentional, all well thought out. They really want to yucky old legs is what
Yeah.
Phil was calling them on your interview there. So check it out, everybody. It's a great interview. Reveals a couple of things, too, that we don't really think about much, like polygons and texture budgets.
Yeah.
Budgets of texture, please. Don't run away with the budget word. I've seen that all over the internet after you posted that. It's not money.
Right.
They have to be careful they don't load up a character with so many polygons that every time he walks on the screen, people's computers go, ugh.
Yeah, it's interesting that you can go pretty far with it, but you have to work within a specific set of parameters. So it's amazing what they're able to do hero to hero with the same budgets. I think it's pretty cool.
Well, and like even something as far as making Gul'dan's spider skin have these undulating spines on the back.
Yeah.
Like that's awesome.
Yeah,
Getting to
it's
hear
rough.
that we won't be getting a Death Knight armor stitches too hurts me.
I know, despite the fact that they have one. They made one.
It's
They
ready.
have it. Yeah.
But we're never
Not
going
gonna
to get to
put it
see
out.
it because it looks too much like the Butcher.
Yeah, that was a bummer.
And also, for you Widowmaker fans out there, they did go over that Uther's medic skin never stopped them from doing a medic hero. Maybe
Yeah.
Nova's a little too on the nose, though, but don't be discouraged. Could happen.
Yeah, yeah. It sounds like there's a bunch of Overwatch characters coming, so I'm excited for that. Bring them on.
So what do you think overall of Gul'dan? Is he someone that you're going to be picking up? Do you feel like he's going to have a place? I guess on top of that, I want to ask, when you're in the draft and you see a Gul'dan, are you afraid?
I'm starting to be. The first few days after a patch, and I'm in a draft, any draft, even unranked draft at this point. If somebody picks the new hero, I'm like, come on, bro. You're not ready to play that character in this kind of environment, especially in ranked. But I've had enough games now where there are some really good Gul'dans, and I'm starting to get a little scared. I have a weird philosophy that I never play the new hotness right away. I sort of let it settle a little bit, and I'm always like one hero or two behind what just came out. Then I'm like, okay, now it's my time to figure out Chromie. Let's get into Chromie. It'll be a while before Gul'dan happens as a player, but as someone playing against a Gul'dan, it's fun to see now how to figure that out and start strategies. And yeah, he's pretty scary. He can lay waste to a team pretty well.
Particularly when he gets that quest done and it bounces the corruption forward and
Yes.
back.
Yes.
If you're stuck in some terrain, that's going to spread around some mad dots, and
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun to do, but scary to see. I agree too. I do go a little hipster when particularly evil characters come out. I want to make sure it goes away. Like everyone wants to try them, everyone wants to touch the new shiny.
Yeah.
But then, I know I go a little too hipster too, because Greymane loses all his win rate, loses all his Gilneas cocktail, and that's like, now's my time.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, of course, he gets good now, and I'm sitting here with my glasses on going, oh, well, I was playing. No, I wasn't playing him first. I just played him while he was bad and got proud of myself.
Right. Yeah, I wait till the win rate drops on a hero, and then it's like, now it's time for me to learn it.
Right? Well, that surprise factor is always a little seductive, thinking
Yeah.
that you can maybe, one up someone just by their lack of understanding of someone's like, Raynors, give me more.
Yeah.
And, you made the mistake, Volley. You fought too long. I've healed up to nearly full. Let's keep going.
Yeah. Well, I love playing Li Ming now. I have become a huge fan of that character. Just that the joy of landing some of her skill shots is great, and just staying back and kind of pinging the bad guys, the other team. But for the longest time, I didn't play her when she was like the new hotness, and everybody loved Li Ming. I wouldn't play her. And so yeah, I'm guilty of that for sure.
Well, Li Ming's fantastic for many reasons. Fun to play, high mobility. But I think my favorite part about her right now is you can really play your own play style. And if you do not aim magic missiles well, fine. Do a Calamity build.
Right. I love that teleport gives damage, man. To finish somebody off by teleporting onto them is so fun. So satisfying.
Oh, and they were prepared for it too at Blizzard. The voiceover of Li Ming, first of all, just being Azula from Last Airbender.
Yeah.
And all that is very exciting, but it covers up whatever the announcer in the game would be, where they're going double kill on,
Yeah.
Tomb of the Spider Queen or whatever. Instead, it's her going double kill, triple kill. I'm so powerful, and you're like, oh, you're awesome, Li Ming. Let's be awesome together forever.
Yeah, exactly. I
Speaking of,
wonder though. Oh,
oh, go for
sorry.
it.
There's one last little leaning thing. I wonder if they seem to be so concerned about a character having one ult that is chosen over another. Do you think they're going to do anything with her other ult? Because does anybody not pick disintegrate?
It's tough not to.
Right. How do you not? And what could you possibly do to what is her area like scatter thing? What could you possibly do to that to make it better than disintegrate? I don't know of anything.
It's such long range poke. I mean, getting that slow on it is just so easy to
Yes.
use. I think that's the thing about it. It's just easy to use, and the other one has the potential to ruin everything and push someone out of a mosh pit. But
Yeah.
I do take it versus mosh pit. That is the one time that I'll take Wave of Force to break those channeled abilities. Maybe there's that Nazebo who's gone Ravenous Spirit, and there's no one on the team that can deal with it. Those are
But
the
even
few
even
times.
disintegrate, can you just target ETC and half the time they stop their mosh anyway?
Right, or if he's just dead.
Yeah.
Why get fancy when he can just be dead?
Right? Anyway.
Well, if you're confused about any heroes, now's the time to check it out, because the first 30 heroes that were ever released for this game are entirely free to play versus AI until August 23rd, which is a pretty long time.
Yeah, pretty cool. I mean, it's versus AI, so there's that. But yeah, if you're just getting into this game, that's a great way to learn.
And I'm really going to encourage a lot of people to pick up those heroes that they're extremely frustrated with and try them out in versus AI. You're not going to learn a lot how to, kill or become real good with them against the AI, but what you will learn is the rhythm of Illidan. Like, grab Illidan. So many people run in fear
Right.
when you need to just stand your ground and relax. And that's what Illidan doesn't want. He wants chaos. He wants that heavenly sword coming down by Johanna and a random push from a Rainer that just keeps everyone in complete chaos again. It's just chaos damage. And that's where he's going to shine. So get in there, figure out when Illidan's dive, they're going to evade, making them miss all basic attack, or you miss all your basic attacks for that time. They almost always do it dive, evade. So relax. If you're on Rainer, he dives you, push him. Wait till he does the flip, push him. Use your spells. And there are other characters in here you might want to figure out, like the new Tychus is very different and burns based on percentage of health. You might want to know what's going on with Asmodan these days. Certainly figure out what's going on with Uther. And I'm not entirely sure it's good.
Or Nuther, as I call him.
Ah.
You're not sure it's good, huh? I haven't had a chance. Uther is one of my favorite characters. He was the first support second support I took to 10 after Brightwing. And I've loved him, but I haven't played him in so long because he's been, kind of the old and busted, as Will Smith would say. And I'm hoping he's the new hotness now. Yeah, is he? You're saying you're disappointed?
I am in my games right now, but I have Lily with blinds, which is damage negation. I've got ranged attacks. The blinds do amazing damage on those wins. Morales is also up. These melee supports, I really love. I love Uther so much. I love being like, you're Illidan? Awesome. Let's Divine Shield you. You're Greymane? Awesome. Let's do this. But it doesn't last long enough. It's still expensive. And really what's happening is his new Retribution kind of paladin form where you can get heals whenever you heal anyone else to keep you going in the melee. When you auto attack, you might get mana. You might up your Holy Fire, dealing more damage in the area around you. You might be able to, Holy Shock people. That's really cool. Blessed Champion. You use a Holy Light, and now every attack you do heals in an area around you. But that means you have to auto attack. And it's the same problem that happens with Monk. Sometimes you just get locked out, and there's no room on your team, maybe, because too many melees for Uther to get in there and get the auto attacks. Or sometimes the enemy team's front line is just so thick, there's no way you're going in there to get stunned that many times.
Yeah, you're not really tanking, and you don't want to be right up in the front there because you'll get burned down pretty quick. Yeah.
So I really want him to work. In my experience this week, it didn't. And for a long time, Karazim, a healer that I absolutely want to be my main healer just because he's so cool, has not worked for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm usually seeing Karazims as, off healers, or, he can bring some sweet damage to a fight. So, he's useful on a team, but him solo healing is not, I'm not exactly full of confidence when that happens on my team.
Nah, it's tough. I want him to be better, but
Yeah.
in this meta right now with Chens and just the responsiveness and the dive, Chens are everywhere.
I have been seeing a ton of Chens, that's for sure. Yeah.
And it used to be this sort of following, like it just kind of happened, and you had
Yeah.
no explanation why so many people played Nazebo, but so few people played Chen. But now the numbers are going up, and we're starting to feel that he might be one of our top heroes in the game right now.
That's interesting. Yeah. And that stupid barrel, man.
That barrel.
Oof.
It They talk about, avoiding stunlock metas, but when you can't teleport out on Li Ming because you're currently being pushed,
Yeah.
there's a special place in MMR hell for Chen and
Yeah.
that barrel.
It's absolutely the case. Yeah.
Dustin Browder is back from his vacation. He has tweeted once, but it was an interesting tweet. It was a look at Heroes of the Storm's first hero selection screen in 2010.
Wow. That's amazing.
That's a long time for this game to be in development. And your interview with Phil Gonzalez also kind of pointed out how darn long they've been working on this game. We sort of have this pet idea in our heads that Heroes of the Storm was just a funsy sort of thing that one day they said, almost like the boss broke into the room and said, "You guys have been working on this too long. Sell, sell, sell. Like, you need to get it out today." But that's not the case. It became its own thing 6 years ago.
Yeah. Like any Blizzard game, long time in the oven. And that's a good thing. I think it shows. And it shows that they really cared about this and wanted to make it right. I think it's interesting when you look at Blizzard as a company now. For so long, it was this three-pillared franchises, right? Diablo, Warcraft, StarCraft. I think now it's pretty clear that the three pillars of Blizzard are Hearthstone, Overwatch, and Heroes of the Storm. And what a sea change that has been, because I think more people are excited and playing those games than the previous pillars.
Yeah. And all those games had their ebb and flows as Overwatch came out. It feels like everyone's kind of coming back. I know Hearthstone is in a bit of a lull right now just because its patch is over. Everyone's gotten the cards they want. They're waiting for that next thing. And Legion is on the horizon. I'm very interested, not only as a fan of the Warcraft games, but just as a onlooking party to see if Legion can sort of bring it back again.
Well, it's going to bring me back.
Definitely.
I'll be playing, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see if it, actually keeps the game relevant in a bigger way, especially compared to something like Overwatch, which has become such this video game culture touchstone.
And it's always fun to see the knockoff games that come out right before, right after the fearfully put out, we got to get this out while the hype is good and people are bored waiting for Overwatch. Torchlight is a fantastic example of one that came out right before a major release and was great for all its own reasons. And
Yeah.
the two in the end could have their own ecosystems.
Yeah, I agree. I love Torchlight.
But then you have like your Battleborns and all these others that try to squeeze it in. So the MOBA market isn't quite as crowded these days. Everyone's a little scared to get in. And certainly with Blizzard throwing in their hat, I think it's full at the moment.
Yeah, I guess the newest entrant would be Paragon, that I feel like is going to carve out its own niche just because of its unique take on the third person action format. But yeah, I think we're good with MOBAs at this point. I think we're good. I think we got the players are on the field. It's fine.
And Paragon's good. I've played quite a bit of it. I didn't get into Smite, but Paragon looks very nice.
Yeah.
A little like dry on the fantasy, perhaps. They go just a little, not far enough, is why they have a ring wraith, but he's not quite a ring wraith. And you got the dude with the guns, but he's just a dude with the guns.
Yeah.
You stick around for the Blizzard flavor.
Right.
In the end. Well, we're about to take some emails here, but let's thank the patrons over at patreon.com. If you would like to support this show, head over to patreon.com/ITN. Now let's get to some emails. Our first one comes from Christian, and he asks, what do you think of a voting system for maps before the game begins?
Well, Anything that adds more time before we start playing, I think in general is a pretty bad idea.
Mm.
I think might be kind of a fun thing. I know a lot of first-person shooters do that. I don't really care that much. And you know, you play enough games, you're gonna get the rotation to be able to sort of constantly exclude Garden of Terror in my case,
Yeah.
and I'm sure in your case. It doesn't really matter to me that much, and I don't think that what you gain in playing your favorite maps is worth what you lose in the amount of time extra it takes to get into a game.
I agree. And I'm always afraid of that next level that we push things towards arguments. Towards, that's not my map. I didn't want that one. I don't want to go to Rainbow Road.
Well, I did. I voted for the other map, so don't blame me for the loss.
Exactly. This is my lowest map. You guys forced me here.
Yeah, yeah.
But, I'm the one who's, afraid of a game environment where I'm seeing Discord links. So I feel like I'm trying to hide in my internet hole to the last minute.
Well, also, I think anything that makes the game narrower, like, let's say I'm amazing on Sky Temple. And so anytime Sky Temple comes up, I vote for Sky Temple. And so I'm playing Sky Temple much more often than I'm playing any other map. Ultimately, I think that makes for a less fun game, a worse game. It's a narrower experience. And maybe I'm winning more because I'm playing that map, but it gets more tiresome because all I'm doing is playing that map and the game itself feels smaller,
We've been in these maps for a long time, and I think questions like this and excitement for all these little hints, not only just from leaks, but, the removal of broodlings from Zagara and zerglings from Kerrigan's kits, are just, everyone's real excited to have something fresh. And it seems like it might be an event. It could be, 2 StarCraft maps back to back and a little bit of theming for it.
I hope so. We need a map, man. I'm at the point where I miss Haunted Mines. Just give me some variety.
Though I can assure you, Haunted Mines today, it's fun to revisit. I did it just the other day on the stream. We had a little Haunted Mines party.
That's fun.
But the current catapult lock-on with those giants going in one lane.
Everybody's down below while your catapults are just assaulting your core.
Yeah. And don't forget that dance we're 2 skulls down. Sorry, everyone. Everyone out. Get the center camp. Yeah. All right. Don't snag that camp. Don't get the giants because it has to get while we go down in the mines, but then you get it when you don't go in. The instructions that were rolling out from people for that map, I think, warranted its retirement. And I'd love to see it back. What is your favorite map? Asked Christian.
My favorite map is Blackheart's Bay. Yeah.
Win rate or?
Oh, I don't even know if it's my highest win rate. I suspect it probably is, or it's one of the top couple. But more than that, I like the fact that it's clear. People have a clear sense of what to do. It's a small map, and I think there's a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun interplay about when to get the boss, when to not get the boss. The fights at the turn-in are fun. Focusing on the coins, the fact that you can kill a character and they'll drop their coins is really fun. I enjoy the interplay of that map, and I like the theme. I think pirates are hilarious. Him, shouting at you the whole time, and it's great. I enjoy that map a lot.
And we wouldn't have the Falstad skin without it. And something Phil noted at was a Blackheart's Bay Uther.
I know, right? The thing I said to him at the time is enough with the Uther skins.
That's true.
Come on.
Sure, spread the love. Johanna's looking a bit moldy. Granted, she's getting that new Spellbreaker skin, which is nice.
Well, give me a new Kael'thas skin.
Yeah.
Give me these characters that are walking around with one alt skin. It's like, come on, buddy. Let's the spread the love. We don't need another, another Raynor, another Stitches, another Uther. We don't need. These guys have plenty of skins.
I got a great idea for Illidan. All right.
Yeah. Well, I suspect there are some characters that are just easier to skin. Just their geometry is easier.
Sure.
So that's why you're not getting tons of Asmodan skins. It's just well, what else do you do to that big old dude? But
right, you have to maintain that shape, and so you can't do so much to him. I mean, I like the cyber skins. I don't buy them, but I think they're a very cute way to maintain the shapes.
Yeah.
And Dinobots, right?
Yeah, Dinobots. I love the Sonya skin that looks like a superhero. She looks like old Rob Liefeld long shot,
Yeah.
And I thought the Tyrande skin that is now a superhero not as good, but cool. I would love for them to just like do superhero versions of everybody. You know, like have an event where the event is like a whole raft of skins for almost everybody in the game. That would be real fun.
Something that really got me excited about this most recent Gul'dan trailer was there was a bit of lore to it. Like
Yeah.
Gul'dan wanted to take over the Nexus. He wanted the power of this place. And
It's cool.
in my own homemade fanfic, I have this dream that we're going to get to see both the new Ariel and her skin battle each other in the upcoming one as Gul'dan pulls like her evil out and makes a little story out of it. I don't know if that'll happen, but
cool.
if this game starts, getting its own lore with a big old wink as like, Raynor says none of this is canon, like that would be fantastic.
That'd be awesome. I would be all for that. Give me a Heroes of the Storm animated series. I'll do it. I'm in. I'll do it. I'm in.
Well, those Draenor ones were great. I mean, even if they were,
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the term would be for those sort of
Motion graphics or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. But those things were awesome. I would love more of that.
Yeah.
My favorite map's got to be Towers of Doom.
Really?
I want to see more maps where people get divided organically. I do not like the start. I do not like the two up top, the one in the bottom.
Well, it's very early in a game with a random team to know,
Yes.
like the level of planning that moment takes. Like, what are we all doing? Everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
You man, I know we just met, but let's make a strategy and execute it.
Yeah.
And usually that leaves Zagara doing it all by herself in the bottom while we all try to take the enemies up top.
Right.
That's not my favorite part of it, but I really do like the decisions that happen in there. And the flow and the splitting of the map does lead to unique situations. I can tell you that if I got to pick my melee carry, it'd be Butcher. I love Butcher. I love
Really?
charging people.
Boy, I have seen so few good butchers.
Yeah, I bet.
There's a character that gets himself into trouble very, very easily, and whenever I see Butcher come up in a draft, I go, "Oh boy,
Yeah.
here we go." But
And even the ones in the master skins, it's hard to find any confidence in them. But he really kind of highlights the differences in leagues because gaining game knowledge, like we talked about in the previous episodes, is very easy. It's fun. You play the game a lot, you watch esports, you have a good time, you get in the video game, you apply that knowledge as best you can. Coming up with good mechanical skills takes practice. You have to have playtime. You have to know that when you charge in, that you take a little weight and you get out one auto attack so you don't stack your slow on top of your stun.
yeah,
These mechanical things are very helpful, but the Butcher is such a high skill character because it really just all comes down to decision making. And I
Yeah.
can have amazing mechanics. I can know everything about the map. But if I'm making bad decisions, he's done.
Well, it's interesting. I've watched a lot of your Greymane play, and it has inspired me. I'm trying to learn Greymane a little more. And one of the things I'm impressed when I watch you play is how you'll dive in, you'll just get some damage and dive out. And so often I would assume a lot of people, get seduced by getting that kill, like dive and stay until you get that kill. And with the Butcher, he's almost incentivized to stay in until he gets the kill because you put that mark on somebody. And it's like, no, I'm here. I put the mark on. I'm going to keep whacking on that guy. And it's like, no, 14 people are hitting you right now.
Yeah.
It's, you may be getting a little health from that dude by hitting him, but everybody else is killing you very rapidly. So he's almost incentivized to stay longer than he should. And I think a lot of people fall into that trap.
We're also very well trained for it by characters like Anubarak.
Yeah.
We all, Anubarak might be the solo tank, he might be the off tank, he might be, quick match and he's the third, fourth tank. But either way, all the world stops when Anubarak burrow charges in because we go, he's done. That's all. That was his escape. That's all he had.
Right.
You used it wrong. Sometimes you win, you follow up, you do a nice stun stack. Then you're winning. Everyone's with you. But when you engage with that thing blindly, you're gonna immediately explode. And I'm curious to know, would Cho'Gall, if he came out today, be better now that we're out of a giant killer meta?
Yeah.
Because when he released, we were already thinking all of our main tanks, our Johannas, our Diablos at the time, even our Muradins with Avatar, they're all health-based. So we were instantly prepared. Oh, you just giant killer him. And then they put out Greymane, too, at a 3% giant killer on top of that. So
yeah.
Cho'Gall had a bit of a rough time.
I tell you, the characters that I get the most confidence when I see a teammate pick in a complete, solo queue, random team, I get so confident when I see somebody pick Tychus because very few people pick Tychus, and when they do, chances are they know how to play that character, and that character can bring such damage to the game. And I have found, at least in my leagues, that Tychuses on my team are such an asset. And it's like the opposite of Butcher or, God forbid, Nova. Please, if I could have one character completely removed from a game, it would be Nova. Just remove it from the game. People, I'm sorry to get on a rant here.
No, do it, man. It's passion.
But people who pick Nova on my team are terrible, and on the other team make my life terrible. So it's a lose-lose. It seems like if you pick Nova, all you want to do is play your own fun little solo game where you dance around and you shoot once and then run away. They can't see me. Oh my God, it drives me bonkers how many Novas, people who play Nova simply because they'll probably feel like they don't die as much because they can just scamper away while the rest of the team now is stuck in the engage that you started. It drives me insane. It drives me crazy, man.
It's a character made for special snowflaking, whereas Abathur, like, he can be playing badly, but he's there to service you.
Right.
He's there to help everybody. And, you know, if they're awful, they're awful. That could happen with any character. For me, I mean, I am haunted by Lunaras right now.
Oh, wow. Lunaras can melt a team. A good Lunara. Woof. But you're saying even on your team you don't want to see a Lunara?
Oh, on my team, it is an epidemic. And I don't know what to do. Like, one of my previous goals here, if I hated a hero, was to take him myself and just stop the madness and be Lunara. But as a player that is so aware of positioning, that's my entire gig in this game. You know, I'm a good auto attacker and I know positioning. There are people who are better spellcasters. There are people who will be methodic with their chromies and do temporal loops that'll blow you away. Right. But that's not me. So Lunara is positioning and auto attacks, and watching her just drives me insane. You don't move faster. You overextend faster. Like, watching Lunaras run onto the map in front of their wisps.
Yeah.
And then they face check before the wisps got there. It just, I have a lot of opinions, and but that's my hurdle right now.
I love this side of you. I don't hear this side enough on the show. You're always the voice of sanity as Garrett is angry, and you're like, calm down, be cool. I like this angry side of you. This is fun.
That's the one that's keeping me down right now. 3 games yesterday lost with a Lunara on my team, and they're early picks, and there's something in the water. And for me, I need to learn to adjust to that. Maybe I'm not playing to the strengths of Lunara. And, you know, my goal is always to put it on myself. And for me, the game right now is all decision making. Mm-hmm. And that's tough because I can't go practice that out in another environment. I have to grind Hero League to see this continue on. If I go in quick match, I'll become a better mechanical player, but the decision making doesn't come through.
You know, you guys call it Wacky Match, and it's Wacky Match, and there's some fun to be had, I guess, in Wacky Match. But the level of play in Quick Match is so low that I don't even know if it's useful for anything at this point. With unranked draft in the game, Quick Match is just I have very little fun in Quick Match. The level of play is so abysmal. Yeah.
And it has its place as it's late night. I just want to play one game as Gul'dan.
Right.
But those characters succeed there. Assassins. If you're training yourself for Assassins, you will have an excellent time in Quick Match because it's that mechanical practice I just talked about. You're managing your own health. You get in your Hero League. And you're pleasantly surprised. You have a tank. You have a support. You could pull things you could never do in Quick Match. But you know what your damage output is. If you're going 1v1 Raynor versus Vala, you know to stand your ground now. If there's a healer and a tank there, that hasn't changed.
Right.
So it has, but when you're trying to teach yourself a new support, I mean, Ariel comes out 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now. That's not where you're going to want to learn her.
Yeah, but where else? Where do you go? I guess you go to unranked draft?
And then you leave when you don't get the hero you want? That's a bit of an epidemic.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's tough.
Jonas sends in an email here that speaks right to my situation, certainly with the decision-making I'm facing. Rotations, he says.
Mm.
This is by far my weakest area in the game. Most of the time I'm okay when it comes to positioning, soaking, objectives, etc. But I feel like rotations is a big burly bouncer who has decided to keep me out of the higher leagues. I only recently made it to Diamond, and I feel that I sometimes drag the team down as I'm not quite on the ball when it comes to rotations. Give me any good pointers?
I'd give my left arm to be in Diamond, but that's just me.
You'd still have a 60% win rate if you were going out. You got to keep telling yourself that.
I know, but I'd have the sweet mounts forever.
Yeah, right. Well, no, you got to get Masters now for the epic
the
one.
Sweetest of mounts, yeah. I don't even care. As long as I get a mount. I don't even need the sweetest of mounts. Rotations. You are much more qualified to answer this question than I.
And this is something I'm facing right now, too. And it's going to be set by the tank. And just like we talked about that Towers of Doom opening where no one's trusting each other yet, but we have to execute this pro strategy, you just got to listen to the guy in charge. And it's sad. And like I was lamenting at the top of the show, if this is the meta, I hope we get out of it soon. But they are extremely powerful. One thing to note is the specialists soaking 2 lanes. And Murky, Zool, they never make the objective. And you're sad. You're mad at them. What are they doing? What are they possibly doing? We're turning in coins. What could they possibly be doing in the top lane? But that Zool on Blackheart's Bay is farming the top and the mid at the same time, delivering those skeletons into the wall. So find confidence in those specialists who are playing well. And take a look at the tab screen. Every time you die, check tab. Every single time. Analyze something. Figure out a talent you didn't see before. See if Illidan has taken reduced spell damage against him while he's evading. These are all really important things to find out. Take a look at the tab. Check the specialists. See their XP contribution. And you might be more happy with them. They might be the only reason you're still in that game. Is because of their mad farm. Even though in our heads we're saying, please make an objective, Murky.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the bummer about the death ball thing, is that you get a team that thinks you're playing a deathmatch. And it's like, no, we're down 2 levels and they're about to hit 10. And I hope you guys are having fun running around and attacking heroes. But guess what? We need XP. So please, can you stop that? Yeah. But rotation is a skill that's rough to coordinate with a team that you're not communicating with, or a team that ignores pings. But when you have a team that it works well, you can really dominate a match.
And all these new quest talents, too, are throwing me for a loop on my rotations because I want that last orb, or I want that last little hit. One of the classic things that happens is the special snowflaking, like we discussed. As a positive for the enemy team, but a negative for us, too. You're on Cursed Hollow, you're versus Zagara. Tribute pops. Zagara's still in the lane with you.
Yeah.
And you think, I've got Zagara locked down by here. It's a 4v4 up there. I don't have to make it.
Right.
But that opportunity, that even a chance of a brief 10-second 5v4 is what everyone truly wants.
Yeah.
So when understanding rotations, you got to put away. And I'm struggling. This is my barrier right now, myself. That's why I'm down in Diamond 4. I've got to figure this out. Is walking away from those orbs, walking away from that Zagara, and noticing what times people want to rotate. And in the pro scene, it's as soon as the lane is defeated. Not even pushed up to the wall. It's not getting that last orb. As soon as that lane has been cleared, they're gone. Mount up, ride with them.
And now with the new orbs, man, it's even harder to walk away. It's like this juicy orb. It's so delicious. It gives me such great mana. I want it.
Oh, another reason I'm just flabbergasted by Gul'dan's win rate, because there's these juicy orbs all over the map. Sure, you don't regenerate any mana, but you've got a lot of opportunities to do it. The new wells.
Yeah.
The new orbs. If the meta can go the way I'm hoping, this is going to be fantastic. And I feel like this is all just panic as we figure out what's going on. What's 2 catapults on a core feel like? And it feels bad.
It feels real bad. Yeah.
Chad asks, we've had more games than we'd like to admit with ruined by witless AI players. And he goes on to ask, do you think there should be different levels of AI? Or what should be done about leaving players?
Well, there isn't going to be a level of AI that is the equivalent of a human player.
Sure.
So, I mean, that's really what you want, right? It's the reason your games are being ruined by AI is because an AI can't be a human. And regardless of what level of AI you're getting, it's always going to be worse than having a human player. And that's frustrating. You know, when I was at that event a few months ago that we talked about, I was talking to the designers a lot about like, what can you do about people that go AFK and get dropped from a game, or you know, somebody that leaves and there's an AI player? Because at a certain point, I'd rather just re-queue. But you can't do that because people would exploit it, right? And they just drop out of games that they're not doing well in. And so it's a tough problem, but it's very frustrating. I feel your pain to have an AI in your game. I just don't think having levels of AI, I think all you're going to be able to do is go down, right? You're only going to get dumber AI rather than better AI, because if you could have better, they would have better.
Right. I mean, no one wants to battle a chess computer, and suddenly that disconnected Uther turns into a god. Right. Wouldn't that be interesting?
Yeah. That would be funny. Yeah.
I've heard that before. Like, you know, drop, we're better off with the AI. It's been a long time since I've seen that statement, but it does happen.
Well, certain people that are actively playing against the team, that would be the case. Yeah.
Yes, that would be an agreeable use of that statement, though. I'd aim to phrase it a little more politely.
Yeah.
Or not at all would be my strategy. It's such an interesting and unique problem to Heroes of the Storm, though, because in other games, other MOBAs, if they drop, sure, they're gone, but that's one less soaking person on the field. Yeah. And when you're dividing a whole lane's XP between 5 people, each person getting a 5th, now they get a 4th. I've won tons of Dota games, and even 3v5s, just because each person got their own lane. They're all solo laners. They're all double the level of the enemy. And you win the game. Or that amazing, imagine, you know, in one of these individual games with individual XP and items that your Illidan drops. And he's been farming the whole game and he's got the best items in the world. Well, now those items are yours. And you can take them off the AI character and give them to you. Or you can sell them for gold and buy other things that are more useful for your class. So it's never a good thing, but there are options in other games, and I'm interested to know. Certainly, you know, the reconnect feature could use some sprucing up.
It's excruciating to be disconnected and then have to sit there and watch your guy die 12 times.
Just turn that screen off. Give me an overlay.
Yeah. What about the idea, something crazy like if a character is controlled by AI, the other team gets no XP for killing it?
That's an interesting idea. Isn't it? Because they farm. If people catch
of course.
on,
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do dive that character, and that's very frustrating. And, you know, proposals have been put up that, you know, would you be willing to, if you won, take less points for the game?
Right.
While the enemy, you know, lost less points for it. Because there's got to be an ebb and flow. You can't just win the games and move on.
Right.
There has to be some sort of punishment on both sides.
It's hard because, you know, you feel like people would exploit it somehow with that work the system in some way. But I do wish there was something, because especially those, like, guy goes AFK at the start of the game and then you're playing your entire match with an AI. It's like, come on. It kills your team morale and you feel like, well, this is unwinnable and we're just about to waste 25 minutes of our lives here.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating.
Though sometimes the internet high fives do fly free, and those management pings. ETC, you take the Tyrande. All right, so we need to play defensive. I'll take the Tyrande for the back line.
Yeah.
Nova, ping the Tyrande so she follows you while we run away. And every once in a while, you do have those miraculous games, but they did take extra work. And certainly in a typing environment. Maybe I should have joined the Discord for that one. It would have been better.
Well, you know, it's one thing when it's your support that drops, because in that situation, it's just like, just keep it near us. It'll know what to do. But if you're like, you know, main DPS drops or something, or your, God forbid, your tank drops, you're in trouble, because there's no AI that's going to be able to be smart enough to, you know, let the team win.
Or you were thinking of having a little fun with your friend. Your Gull, he's Cho, he disconnects.
Oh, God.
And you're along for a wild ride tonight.
That would be all. That has never happened to me. That would be terrible to just be like, where is this computer taking me? Oh, man.
I've heard he's extra responsive to Gull, but I still think it wouldn't succeed too well.
That is hilarious. I have not seen that happen. That'd be funny.
Well, we have reached the end of the show. Thank you, Jeff, for joining me today.
Oh, it's so fun. I love talking about this game, and I love talking to you, so I really appreciate you inviting me. It was a great time.
Absolutely. Well, I know you're held back on your other shows, so I'm glad we can check in with you before you boil over.
Yeah, it's what it is. It's like relieving the pressure. I need to talk. So that's good.
Well, the show was produced by Patreons over at patrons, no, other way around, but patreon.com/ITN. Check it out. Thank you to everyone who's left us iTunes reviews. You can find Garrett when he's here. Oh, well, and always on the internet at Garrett Art. You can find all his shows over at AMove TV. You can find my shows over at AMove TV, as well as KyleFerguson.com. Check out my solo streams over at twitch.tv/KyleFerguson. Where can people find you, Jeff?
Well, you can follow me on Twitter at Jeff Cannata. That's spelled with 2 N's and 1 T. And I had the aforementioned video game show that I do every week. It's called DLC. You can find that at 5by5.tv/DLC.
Awesome show.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
And of course, the show is always sponsored by DoghouseSystems.com. Use our code ITN and you'll get yourself a free 120 gigabyte solid state on your next order of your gaming PC. And then tweakedaudio.com, same code ITN. You'll get 30% off and free shipping on your entire order of noise-reducing earbuds. And that does ship across the pond for free as well. So check that out. Thank you all for being here. After show games to come. Hang out. Take care.